Now, there's that little ball there of the flux that we luckily didn't get any of here. And to deal with that, we need to work on Essentia Distillation.
Okay.
Now, in order to do that, we are going to need to do a little bit of research first. If we go to Alchemy again, in your Thermonomicon, before we're done with these Thaumcraft series, I'm going to make you say that.
Thermonomicon.
Yes.
Yay!
That's one step down. Now we need to get you to say thermometer.
Thermometer.
You're good, you're well on your way.
I can do this.
You're becoming a real thaumaturge. Okay, so on the right of basic alchemy, you see nitor and elementum.
Yes.
We need to do those two.
Okay. Right.
All right.
Research
So
next
let's
made.
research.
Okay. So the first one we are doing is elementum.
Very easy.
Yes, we should be able to.
As long as you have potential ignis, I guess.
Yeah, I have potential ignis, and we could pretty much almost alternate them, can't we?
Yeah, you can just walk it. You're starting to think in research, I guess. Think in puzzles.
Okay, so we need to do.
I can just do potentia between and then go one down to with an ignis to connect them up. It's not the ideal, but it'll still work.
Okay.
And the other one,
which is nitor. Okay, so this is.
You know that Lux contains ignis as well?
It does, so we could kind of do the same thing, couldn't we?
Yeah, except you don't get very much Lux, so I would suggest using potentia instead. I mean, you can always make more, but still, I like to use what I have rather than creating more.
There we go.
Okay, so if you learn those two. Now, you will notice that if you look in your book, nitor is another brewing one. It takes ignis, lux and potentia, 3 of each, and a piece of glowstone dust. And that makes nitor, which is those things you've seen in my place.
Yeah.
That's like a floating flame.
Yeah.
And it's also used in a lot of different things. So you generally want to keep some of those around for convenience. But those will become easier to craft in a little bit once you have done your homework.
Okay.
Because we are going to talk about Essentia Distillation, but before we do that, have a look at elementum. Same thing. Ignis, potentio, and potentia makes elementum with a piece of coal, and elementum is an efficient fuel. A piece of coal burns for 1,600 ticks. A piece of elementum burns for 4 times as long.
6,400, yeah, wow.
Also, there is several things in Thaumcraft that becomes more efficient if you use it. I rarely ever use it, but it is there if you have Essentia to spare. But now, on the right side of this, you will see Essentia Distillation.
That's it there, yep.
We want to do that one as well.
Okay.
So let's have a look at the research.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Do you know the upper one there?
That is limus.
Gelum? Oh yeah, limus, that's right. So, limus contains water. We have water. So we could walk it with water, for instance. What should we connect them with? We could connect them with... let's see. Is it herb? No. Which one is it? Water's always a little bit of a fishy one. Ba, 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 ba. Let me look in my book, that's easier. Okay, so water. Water goes into Limas, where we came from. It also goes into Victus, and that's about it. So, if we go from, let's see, if we go from the upper aqua,
Yep.
do Victus on the lower right, and on the upper left of the lower one, on the left side of those two, put a Terra. Actually, don't do Terra, do Herba instead.
Herba, okay.
That's a better choice. And then between the Herba and the Presentatio, do an Arbor. And then below the Arbor, do a Vacuous. We need an air as well, sorry.
Okay.
So between the Vacuous and the Arbor, put an air.
There we go.
A little bit of a complicated one, but oh well. So, now that we have that, we need one more thing. While we are at it, you can do it now. It's just nice to have these. So above the Essentia Distillation has appeared watered jars and labels.
Yes, it
We
has.
want to do that one.
Okay, well that already has given me the recipe.
Oh, lovely. It's an automatic one. So, if we look in the watered jars and labels first, you can see this is how you make all of those bottles I have in my place.
Yes.
And basically what it is Essentia storage. A vial can contain 8 and a jar can contain 64. And once Essentia is in a jar, you can label it, which requires 4 pieces of paper, a slime ball and some black dye. And then you will get jar labels, and if you label a jar with a type of Essentia, then you will basically get the, what is it called? The jar locked to that Essentia so that it can't contain other stuff, which can be useful.
Excellent.
So you use these to contain your Essentia. And when you're brewing, you could try to use, for instance, files to take out 8 Essentia and then type, like do, for instance, if you want to do Nitor. Nitor contains Ignis, Potentia and Lux. 3 of each to make it. Well, the only way you can do that is then if you do 8, 16, 24. So that many. That means you make 8 at a time. If you use files, but I mean you need to use 3 files times 3 and then you get 8 from it, but every file takes glass and it takes clay. That's not ideal, but you can do your brewing like that. It's just problematic that you have to time it up like that, and it makes it complicated.
No, I think the jars is probably the nicer way to go.
It's just a storage for it. We're going to actually make it possible for you to make pure one single item brewing, which is what I did with the nether quartz, but that's going to be your homework.
Okay.
For now, let's have a look at the Essentia Distillation. Now, to distill Essentia, you need to have a alchemical furnace, which takes arcane stone blocks, a furnace and a cauldron.
Okay.
So, You know how to make a furnace and you know how to make a cauldron.
Let's go make those.
Get the items for those and then get 8 pieces of regular stone.
Let's just get iron. Okay. So I can pop those in there to start with. So cauldron on the top.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh no.
You need a crucible.
Ah, so I need to put my cauldron down.
Whack it with a wand. Pick it up again. Boop.
Okay, so then that there, and now...
You shouldn't put those in first because you still need to make your arcane stone.
Okay.
You need a shard, and you have a lot of Peditio or entropy shards. You could use one of those.
Let's use the entropy shards, shall we?
Just one of them.
Okay.
Make a furnace out of stone, or out of the stone, and then put the entropy shard in the center.
Okay.
And that will make an arcane stone block. 9 of them.
Yep, got those.
So now you have sufficient to make your alchemical furnace. Right.
There we go.
So, let's place it down somewhere. We'll always pick it up later. So, over there or something. Now, this is not ready to work yet because we need more. This here will take items, burn them down into an Essentia slurry, but you need something to collect that. And in order to do that, if you look inside Essentia Distillation again, we need, if you go 2 times to the right, you will see Arcane Alemnic. You see it?
No, sorry, I might be on the wrong page.
You go to the Essentia Distillation, go to the right, turn pages twice.
Essentia Distillation. Ah, right, yeah.
So, we need to have some iron ingots, we need to have some buckets, we need to have some gold, and we need to have a vis filter. The vis filter is on the previous page. You need 2 pieces of gold and a piece of silver wood planks.
Okay, right, well we have in here.
If we grab 1 piece of silver wood planks, then do 4 pieces of gold, do 16 pieces of iron,
Okay.
and that should be it. So 1 silver wood plank, 4 gold, 16 iron. There we go.
Okay, that's those.
Then you make your buckets, 2 buckets.
Okay.
And then you do in the, let's see, how was it? You do the buckets in the center, do on the left, lower right, and center top, iron,
So I need to
2
do
each place.
two of these in everything.
Yep. We're making 2 at a time at the moment, because we have 2 filters, so we might as well.
Yep.
And I will also explain to you the significance.
And 2 gold as well, wasn't it, in the top corner?
Yep. And you're ready to craft.
Perfect. 1, 2 of those. There we go.
Okay, so these will extract the essentia from this thing, and they can only extract one type of essentia at a time.
Okay.
If you put one of them on top here,
on top of the furnace. Yeah.
What will happen now is that this will start drawing essentia. It will pick one type of essentia, start to draw that. Once it reaches 32, it's full, then you need to empty it. And the problem is it only extracts one type of essentia. So it's limited in its speed, but if you put the other one on top of it, then it would now be able to extract 2 times at the same time.
Okay, clever.
So, for instance, if we were to burn coal, for instance, in it, then it would pull out potentia in, for instance, the lower one and ignis in the upper one. So, if you do that, for instance, there's 2 in each, so if you do 16 coal, burn that, then there will be 32 in each of them. That is the alemnic completely full.
Okay.
You could grab some coal and try it.
Let's have a little go. So I need the coal in the bottom, obviously, as the fuel as
No.
well. Nope.
You're trying to burn the coal. You want to make Essentia slurry out of it. I usually use planks or half slabs for the burning fuel.
Okay.
Keep in mind, be careful when you shift click things into it, or you will accidentally burn things. It can even run on sugarcane.
Wow. Right, so let's put...
So if you put 16 coals in the top, and then you put some planks in the bottom, now you will notice what it does. It will start creating essentia on the left. If that fills up, it will start wasting heat, so you don't want to burn too much at a time. But since we have the same amount of alemnics as we get essentia, it's going to extract it as quickly as it can, so there's a chance that it'll finish this. You can see it's halfway through and not halfway up. So, once this is done, it will just continue draining. There we go.
There we are.
We're still wasting some heat now, of course, but oh well. So, if you right-click on the alemnics with an empty hand, it will tell you this alemnics is about half full. And that is a good thing to use every now and then to make sure that they're completely empty. So now we should get you some jars.
Okay, so I need...
make yourself 2 jars. You need
glass planks and... glass panes, isn't it? And...
yeah, 14 glass panes and 2 slabs. I mean, you're going to need a lot of them, so you can make more if you want. Like, I usually have 2 for every essentia type.
Right, so... jar...
Do a cauldron of glass panes.
There we go.
There we go. And now with bottle in hand, if you take one of your jars, do keep in mind, if you have open inventory space, if you right click on one of these alemnics, it will take it away from your bar.
Got you.
So you might have to put it back into your bar.
Okay, so right click.
But once there's something in it, it will stay on your bar. So if you take one of the jars and right click on the lower one,
there we go.
and then on the upper one with an empty jar, there we go.
Awesome.
And then you can place them down here and look at your essentia. So now, if you were to mark these, they would be marked as ignis and potentia, and make sure they could not pick up anything else. If you want to lock this one that is empty, you need to take a file of essentia and use that to mark the what is it called, the label beforehand. But you can do it if you want to.
Perfect.
So that is Essentia Distillation. Now
go.
for your homework.
Okay.
Because there is one thing that is the problem, as I talked about, namely, if you need to do this with files, you waste resources, you waste glass, is clay, and also you have to do a lot of calculation. And even though I'm good at math, it's still an arse to do. So we don't want to do that. So if we look inside the alchemy section again, to the lower right of the Essentia Distillation is Essentia Tubes.
Okay.
If you buy that, then to the upper right of it will appear Essentia Crystallization.
Yes.
That one you want to research as part of your homework. And then you want to make at least one of them. They will require an alchemical construct, which is made, or which you can see in the Essentia Distillation how you make. It requires 2 filters, 2 Essentia valves, 4 Essentia tubes, and a great wood plank. But you make at least one of those. What that does is, if you take a jar like this, put it on top. Like usually I have it just sitting like this. Then, if I take my jar here, stick it underneath, this will start working.
Okay.
That will output crystalline shards into the world, unless you put a chest over top. Then it will stick it... Damn crucible. Then it will put it inside the chest, if there's space. Else it will, again, output it into the world. But what that does is it gives you a source of any kind of essentia at a size of 1. So rather than having to do 3 times 8 of Lux, Potentia and Ignis to make Nitor, and then make 8 at a time, we could take 3 Lux, 3 Ignis and 3 Potentia, stick it in the cauldron along with 1 glowstone, and we have just made a single one.
That would be much easier, wouldn't it?
That is what I did with the quartz. 2 aqua, 2 potentia, and 4 vitreous per quartz. And I just needed to make 4, so multiply it by 4.
Clever stuff.
So, now the only thing we have left to do is the last bit. The last bit that we require in our thaumaturgis exploits, and that is infusion, which you have already sort of done a little bit of.
Indeed.
Together with me. Now you just need to learn how to do it yourself. And it's up to you. It's going to take a little bit to set it up. We can set it up today, but it's up to you.
Well, I think we should save that for the next one.
Well, let's still talk about it. And then we will leave it off, and it will be part of your homework to set it up so that it is ready for next time.
I like a challenge.
So, let's see here. If we go to Artifacts, the 4th tab on the left.
Okay.
Then go to the lower left-ish. You should see a block that is called Infusion.
Yes.
That one we want to research.
There we go.
Let's look inside our research table. Okay, so we have Machina and we have Fabrico, those two are related. So, let's see here. Machina. I can find it.
Oh, they're both linked by Instrumentum.
There it is, Machina. Yeah, they're linked by Instrumentum, so we could go to Instrumentum, and then Instrumentum is connected by Auto. So, if we do that.
Okay. So effectively I could kind of walk.
If you walk those two together, and if you have an abundance, let's see, Instrumentum, Auto, that should be completely fine. If you do Instrumentum of the lower right of Fabrico, and at the upper left of Machina, and then do Ordo on the lower side of the upper one and the upper left of the lower one. Connect those up by Vitreous.
Oh, not there.
That's Victus.
That's why. Vitreous, which is that one. There we go.
Then up, like to the upper right of the Presentatio, if you put a Potentia there, the fish,
It does look like a fish.
and then to the upper right of that, put an Ordo. And then connect the Ordos up by Vitreous, and it'll be done.
There we go. It does look a bit like a fish. I can now see it's actually a fist holding lightning, isn't it?
Yep. Okay, so let's look at the research. And if we look under Artifice and under Infusion, you should see a bunch of stuff suddenly has shown up.
Yeah, loads. Wow.
So, if you look inside Infusion, you will see how to make a runic matrix. It requires arcane blocks, arcane stone blocks, which you know how to make.
Yeah.
And if you look on the next page, note that it needs a lot of auto to do, so you need to have an almost full one to do it. On the next page you see an arcane pedestal. You need to have one in the center, and then you need to have one for every item you use for the infusion.
Okay.
And I have, let's see, I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. But you can do any number you want. It just depends on how complex you want to make things. Some things require a lot. But you can make them as you go. The most important thing is doing this symmetrically. So if you have one in one corner, you want one in the other corner, and so on.
So potentially you could do 4 then, could you sort of like the 4 opposite corners?
Yeah, so you could do the 4 opposite corners, although 4 won't do a whole lot, so say 8.
Yeah, so like...
At least minimum.
Yeah.
Then on the next page you will see you have this 7 by 7 area. And in that area, in the center 3 by 3. On the next page in the here you will see the 3 by 3 structure you need to make. You see it?
Yes. Yeah.
We have arcane stone bricks. Arcane stone bricks is just an arcane or 4 arcane stone blocks like you normally make bricks.
Yeah.
You make those 4 on the bottom in the corners, a pedestal in the center. On top of the arcane stone blocks, you place the arcane stone or arcane stone bricks. You place the arcane stone blocks. And then on the level above that, between them all, you put the runic matrix. And once you have that, and you have 25 of every Essentia in your wand, you just go down there, whack the runic matrix with your wand, and you will get what you see on the next page, which is your infusion table.
Very cool. And that's the spinny thing, isn't it, that you have?
Yep. So that's part of your homework, and that will be made down in the bottom room here. And if we look inside the Artifice tab as well, I want to give you one more piece of homework. And that is another research homework. Because to the right of the infusion is Boots of the Traveller, which is what I have on. It allows you to run fast, it allows you to run up blocks without having to jump, and it makes you able to jump much higher than you usually would be able to. So it's an all-round awesome thing to have.
Me likey.
So, researching that and preparing to make that, like gathering the items for it, as well as the essentia needed for the infusion is part of your homework.
Okay.
And that means you need to find stuff to burn. You need to have Ita and Velatis, I can tell you. Ita is related to travel or journey, so you can kind of imagine where that might come from.
Mm-hmm.
Velatis is flight, that comes from feathers. You have quite a few of those, I would imagine.
I think so, yes, oh yeah, with all those chickens.
So those should not be an issue. So, you do those, and then there's one more thing that I will leave as an optional homework. And that is to make the thermostatic harness, or rather, not make it, but do the same. Research and gather the items for it. And perhaps the thermostatic girdle. When you have researched the Butcher of the Traveller, that one will appear, the thermostatic harness. And once that is researched, you can buy the thermostatic girdle. And if you research that, then we can prepare for your flight.
Exciting. No more batting.
Indeed. Now, you will notice that infusion isn't exactly a safe thing. Things can blow up. Usually things drop off the pedestals, but things can also blow up.
Uh-oh.
So if it says, like here, that it needs a pair of boots, like the center item won't fall off. So one pair of boots is fine, but if it says that it needs 2 air shards, you probably want to have an extra one handy, because if one of them blows up, you can replace it quickly. If it falls off the pedestal, you just put it back on. But we will get to that next time.
Exciting stuff.
So, research, homework, Boots of the Traveller, and if you feel like it, thermostatic harness, and then you might as well buy the thermostatic girdle as well. Basically what the girdle does is it makes you faster, but it also makes your harness consume more potentia.
Okay. So we need to make sure we have plenty of that around then.
Yeah, but you can get plenty of potentia from coal, so...
Yep, and charcoal as well.
Yeah,
You say you can
I
do
would
the same
suggest
thing.
going over to using charcoal for it.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, set up a coke oven. I don't know if you've ever used that. You
no,
just
but I
whack
can...
in some logs. If you just type coke into your NEI, I guess that could be part of your homework as well. Then the second rightmost item, the right block, the sort of sandy brownish one, is coke oven brick. And you need to make a 3x3 bottom of it and a 3x3 top, and then the center level is just the ring, so it needs to be empty in the center. So you need to have 26 of them.
Okay.
Now, what is good about this one is that you just whack in a stack of logs, and then in a little bit you will have a free, without having to spend any fuel or power or anything, stack of charcoal.
Perfect.
If you have regular coal, you can also toss it in and it will turn it into coal coke, which will make your coal much more powerful. But that's if you use coal for fuel, which you probably don't. So it's just a free way of getting charcoal by having a little time. It does, however, create creosote oil, and you probably don't have a use for that, because it's basically only used in railcraft. So probably just hook up a pipe and a servo on the side to pull it out, and a fluid duct. Pull it out and stick it into a fluid can or fluid trash can.
Okay, yeah. And just get rid of it that way.
You really don't need it for anything.
No.
So. But yeah, that is everything.
Excellent.
Now you know everything. Just be mindful here when you're doing your brewing, if you experiment with that, that if the water gets too low, You might not have enough more water to complete your brewing, so at this point I would probably refill it.
Okay, no, that's fine. That makes sense.
Also, it uses different amount of water depending on how much you brew at a time. And there's a limit to how much you can brew at a time. If you put too many items in it at the same time, it will overflow. So don't just whack a full stack of stuff into it. Do it in small groups. I think you could do... You can probably do like 16 safely, but I usually like to go a little lower just to be safe. But yeah.
Perfect.
Just a little handy tip. And next time perhaps we can look into golems. I think would be a good idea.
So then we were talking about the like the harvesting ones, weren't we? Because of the seeds for the bees and things.
Harvesting.
Yeah.
And also for this here, it gets tedious to fill it up yourself. You could make yourself a little helper golem that will fill it for you.
Oh, that could work. That could definitely work.
That but that's for next time.
Perfect. Well, that's been good. I mean, this little room's really coming along now. It's actually got stuff in it, which is cool. But no, that's been a lot of fun. I think we learnt stacks again. Absolutely stacks. Lots of homework, which is good. So, yeah.
Then you have some things to do.
Exactly. But for now, guys, thank you all very much for watching. Massive, massive thanks again, Ulvra. You've been an absolute star and you're a font of all knowledge. But hope everybody enjoyed it. I certainly did again. Learnt tons. But we shall see you in the next one. Take care.